4 years since North Korea and Japan have last met on this high-level meeting?
That's a good question, actually. It's not really clear why. My guess would be that the Japanese have been put off from discussing anything with North Korea because of the nuclear program in the last few years. But Japan does have a standing interest in talking to North Korea about the abductees. And that means in the 1970s and 80s, the North Korean intelligence services simply kidnapped Japanese citizens and dragged them across the water to help train North Korean agents. And this issue has become very, very resonant in the Japanese public in the last 2 decades. And so the Japanese have had a standing interest in discussing this. My guess is the North Koreans are offering this because they want to trade that for aid and assistance from the Japanese.
What about you personally, Professor? What would you like to hear out of these meetings between the North Koreans and the Japanese?
Well, I do think that the Japanese have a good point on the issue of the abductees. It has become very, very emotional in Japan. I mean, the families have protested, and there's letter-writing campaigns, discussions on television all the time. This has become a real driver of the issue in Japan in a way that it is not, say, in South Korea, where it's much more traditional and strategic. It's about military balance and stuff like that. So I do think it's time that North Korea came clean on this. This is a really good way for North Korea to prove that it's changing or wants to be a better member of the community in East Asia. From the Japanese side, I think the most likely offer to response to this would be some kind of aid or trade deal. It's easily within Japan's power to offer the kind of resources North Korea would like. So that's probably the deal in the offing.
So, briefly, Professor, do you think that this could be the start of more regularly scheduled meetings between the North Koreans and the Japanese?
Probably not. Actually, unfortunately, North Korea has a tendency in these kinds of negotiations to go backwards and then forward, take a step forward, one step back. Cheating, to be perfectly honest, has been a big problem in dealing with the North for a while. My guess is this probably won't go anywhere. It would be nice if it would, and you asked what would I like to see, but I would actually like to see the North Koreans deal and actually maintain their commitments, but traditionally they have not. So my guess is this probably actually won't go very far. This is discussion, probably talk, but I don't actually think it'll go very far, no.
Robert Kelly from Pusan National University. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Meanwhile, the Korean